orientation video. This video will go through the starting well procedures. Now, I'll preface, this is as of August 24th, 2020. Our plan is as good as how recent it is. So things may change in this plan, but as of right now, today, this is the current plan that we have. Let's start with our school's mission. The mission of St. Martin's Lutheran School and Early Childhood Learning Center is that we provide a Christ-centered education that reaches out into the community and assists family in nurturing students as lifelong disciples of Christ. And this mission statement, along with our school year theme, which you can see at the bottom right-hand corner, fits very well with our school plan. We want to reach out to families. We want to nurture students as lifelong disciples of Christ. And yet, during this time with COVID, sometimes we don't know exactly what's going to happen, but we do know that God knows what's going to happen. And that's a message we get to share with students and families. And whatever we do it all to the glory of God. And that's kind of the starting place for our plan. Doing all things to the glory of God, all things of love to all people, being all things to all people, and doing it out of Christian love. So that was a guiding idea in our decision making when we put this plan together. We know we want to educate the whole child, academically, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And we feel the best way to do that is whenever possible with in-person instruction. So we are striving to stay in person and do in-person instruction this year. And we got input from lots of places, including South Dakota Department of Education and South Dakota Department of Health. A couple of big items. A strong focus on just general cleanliness and personal hygiene, washing of hands, coughing into your elbow, both with students and teachers. Second thing we're going to be doing, a second large point, is symptom screening. This is a self-symptom screening. So at home, before your kid would come to school, you can check to see if they have these new symptoms. And if they do have these new symptoms, consider keeping them at home. Lastly, currently we will be doing a temperature check when you come in the door. When students come in the door, it's a touchless temperature check to monitor that potential symptom. If it's higher than 100.4, we'll pull them aside. We'll let them rest for a second. We'll give them a second temperature check. If they again would run high, then we would call the parents and have them come back and pick them up. Again, that's something we're currently doing. We'll evaluate, as we evaluate the whole plan, we'll evaluate that in the coming weeks. Masks. We are not requiring masks. We are encouraging that masks be worn. I know that some teachers will wear them. I could foresee some students will wear them as well. Another big thing that we'll be doing is minimizing close contact. Close contact is defined as someone being within 6 feet or less of someone for 15 minutes or more. So that's how the CDC and South Dakota Department of Health defines close contact. So that's something we're trying to stay away from, because once you've been in close contact with someone that has COVID, you would need to be in a quarantine, or your student would need to be in a quarantine. And that would mean that you'd have to be home for 2 weeks. And that's not something that we would like to do. So whenever possible, we're going to try to avoid close contact. Another idea is the idea of grade level bubbles. So for instance, trying to keep 4th grade part of 4th grade, 5th grade part of 5th grade, the idea being that they wouldn't mix a whole lot. For example, if there's a 4th grade student that would have COVID and potentially some of the other classmates would have been in close contact, then potentially we could be looking at making 4th grade go into distance learning for a couple of weeks. We'd like to keep it at just that 1 grade and not 5th grade or any other grades. So that's why we're going to have these grade level bubbles as much as possible, knowing it's not going to be perfect because we do have sports and other places and times when they might come into contact. We are going to try to minimize that close contact between grade level bubbles. Students are encouraged to bring water bottles. We'll have touchless bottle fillers. The drinking fountains will not be available, but they can use those bottle fillers. We are limiting visitors during the school day as well. If you'd like to come visit with a teacher after school, that would be fine. But during the school day, we are limiting parents visiting the school. Drop off and pick up will be very much similar. 8:10 to 8:30. We did extend that drop off time by 5 minutes to alleviate some congestion, but pickup will still be 3:30 to 3:45. If there are COVID symptoms during the school day, let's say a child is at school and then they get sick, we'd bring them to the office, keep them under supervision, but we'd contact the parents to come pick up the child. If there would be a positive case of COVID in our school, We would send a letter home to families. We will not identify the individual, but we would identify any individuals that may potentially have been in close contact with them. And that individual who would have COVID would need to be out of school as well. Extracurriculars, athletics, band, choirs, others. The full rundown of all the interventions we're doing was in the plan that was sent out to families earlier in August. It can be read there. 2 other items: we will not have any library for the first half of the year due to construction and COVID. It just seemed like the right decision. And then distance learning. If we do need to go to distance learning, students will be trained on some plans right here at the beginning of the school year, what that might look like in the event that we have to do that. But Lord willing, we would like to do in-person learning as much as possible. So those are the items for the second video, starting well.